Hockey friends and families, we are heading towards the end of the season, which means a lot. The playoffs, the postseason, and of course, your favorite evals and tryouts. And we always like to let you know that our title sponsor, NHL Sense Arena, has some great solutions for you to help. It helps to train hockey IQ. It's not just another training tool, right? It's not just something you're going to leave in the basement. The kids love to use it. My kids love to use it. My son, who is a goaltender, uses this to get ready to play in his games. And he has told me that this has helped him dramatically, not just prepare for the game, but to see the puck better, to feel better on the ice. You know, whether it's that or Hockey IQ via their Dangle Pro system, which we've done a lot of videos about, or their Game Flow system for goaltenders, it's really become part of both of my kids' routine to get ready to play. They're more confident, they feel more prepared, and they're just less overwhelmed when the game speeds up, which is something really cool. So we know you hear about this before every episode. If you're still on the fence, just note that now is the lowest price of the year that they do. It's $299 for an annual plan. That's $25 a month for all their skater and goaltender drills. No matter what your kid plays, there's something in this system for them, and they're always adding new stuff. I know they have something coming out in March, which is really exciting. Check it out. Again, go to nhl.sensearena.com/OKPH. Again, nhl.sensearena.com/OKPH, and use the code OKPH for an extra $25 off that already discounted price. NHL Sense Arena, always looking out for you, looking out for us. Take a minute, check it out. It'll be worth your time. And then come back here and enjoy this episode of Our Kids Play Hockey. Hello, hockey friends and families around the world, and welcome back to another edition of Our Girls Play Hockey. It's Lee, Elias, and Mike Benelli with our very own Hayley Scamurra today. And I introduced the show that way because today is another day in the life of Hayley Scamurra, and we're really enjoying this series because, and I'm actually not going to say this like humbly. This is amazing. We've got a PWHL athlete, we have a Team USA athlete in an Olympic year going through what is becoming the best season for the PWHL ever. Not only is this just a great series, Hayley, about a day in the life, but it's a banner year for women's hockey, Olympic hockey. I mean, all these things. So I actually want to start again by thanking you for sharing your journey, for allowing us to kind of get a peek behind the curtain and what it's like to be you. I think it's amazing. So again, this won't even be the last one, right? We gotta have to do one after Italy too. But you know, thank you so much for doing this.
Yeah, no problem. I love sharing this with people because so many people don't understand the ins and outs and, with the league and how I play for a Canadian team, but I'm on the USA team.
Right.
And so you'd be shocked how many questions I get about that. And so I love to shed light on kind of everything we're doing as professional athletes and as a Team USA athlete as well.
Well, I can't wait to dive into that on this episode today. I joked with you before the episode, prepare to be interrogated or questioned, but we have to really start with this. You have been named Team USA. You are now an Olympian. This was the goal at the start of the season. We mentioned in previous episodes, while you are favored to be on Team USA 3-4 months ago, you have to earn it. It is not guaranteed. There's nothing that says you're going to be on the team, but you have been named to the team. So from Mike and I, from the whole show, from the whole audience, congratulations on being named an Olympian to the USA hockey team again.
Oh, thank you so much. Yeah, it was just incredibly exciting and just such an honor, honestly. And I think I kept my calm pretty cool, calm, collected and everything. But the day we heard we were going to get the calls, it was a little stressful. So just kind of staring at my phone, waiting for the time to go by a little faster. And when I got the call from guest of the show, Katie Million, and she was doing chit chat, and I'm like, okay, hopefully this is good news then after we chit chat here. And yeah, I cried after. It was just incredible. It was just such like a relief and excitement and just all of the things.
Yeah, so as they say, you make the team, right? But now this is really where the hard work begins. And I think, maybe talk a little bit about like how did your mindset change when you made the team? There's relief, right? There's joy, and you're like, okay, this is awesome. And it's like, oh my God, how am I going to do all this? Like I got to play pro hockey. I have to live. I have to play for the Olympics. So, what goes through your mind right away when that call happens and you have to start like looking at your calendar saying, okay, how am I going to make this work?
I think the biggest thing was honestly to just enjoy that moment. That was my second time having that news about making the Olympic team. And so I really just soaked it in that day. I called my family, I shared it with like close friends, and just kind of allowed myself to be just happy in that moment and not really think too far ahead yet. But then it is funny because then the next day it was like kind of back to business with the PWHL. And we talked a little bit about that on the call with Haley Wynn, where it's like, yes, like I'm an Olympian or going to the Olympics soon. Um, but you didn't really celebrate that with your teammates for Team USA. You kind of just went back to business. And so that was kind of the difference between the two for myself. And um, that was definitely interesting. But honestly, it kind of helps you stay grounded and kind of stay in the moment because, like, I can't really think too far ahead. It's like we had a game last night,
Right.
have a game coming up on Sunday. Like, you don't really have a choice but to stay in the moment and just to keep playing your game because that will ultimately prepare you for the ultimate goal in the Olympics.
Yeah, and just to set the stage for everybody listening again, this is a very unique year. This is the first time that there's been a prominent women's professional league as the Olympics are going on. We talked in previous episodes how when you made the Olympic team, you were with the Olympic team, potentially when it was picked, and then really for months leading up to the event. This is the first time that has not happened. Obviously mirroring, NHL players, right, who are also returning to the Olympics for the first time in many, many years. Haley, here's a good question for you. And again, we're going to jump around here a little bit. The last Olympics you were at, there were not NHL players here. Now, it's not so much I'm asking you, are you starstruck? You're a professional player too. But have you given any thought that, you might be rubbing elbows, with Connor McDavid and some of these other, players on Team USA, Team Canada that are around? I don't think they stay in the Olympic Village. I don't know where you stay, but has that crossed your mind at all? This is more of, I guess, of a kind of a fan question, right?
Yeah.
I don't know. How do you approach that? Because it's going to happen.
Are you sending Haley over with some bag of jerseys or something like that? Or hats or what?
How many favors can we pull? No, I'm just kidding. Yeah.
It's super exciting. It's so cool that we'll be in the same kind of realm with them and sharing in the same experience. And hasn't fully hit me yet, but I think it will as soon as we're all hanging out or going to the dining hall together or at opening ceremonies. We'll be walking in together. And it's different this year with the Olympics in terms of the villages are all kind of spread out.
Right.
So I believe at our village, it's just like hockey, so men's and women's.
Wow.
Speed skating. That actually might be it. I think it's just like those two. I think figure skating might even be further away. I actually don't quite remember. But so in that sense, it's going to be even kind of a smaller group of people together where we're sharing in this experience. So it'll be more intimate for sure. And maybe to be able to like hear like about their experiences and what it's like for them going from the NHL to the Olympics. And like, this is their first time, a lot of them. They haven't been able to do it for a while. So that's also really cool. So I think they're going to be super excited and probably asking us questions, to be honest, because it is different for sure.
I'm just saying it's really cool that, I think the NHL players have experienced this for a long time, but I think now that, and Lee mentioned it earlier, that you're on a team, and all the women on the Olympic team are on teams that have other Olympians on them. So now you have to go into the village, right? And are you staking out your claim there? Like, does the game face go on during that period of time? Like, how does your mental process go in to knowing that, every night you have to go battle against your teammate, basically, and win? Like, that's your objective at the end of the day.
Absolutely. I think honestly, as soon as we get to Olympic time, it's like I'm hanging with my Team USA athletes and there's no one else. Like, I'm not hanging out with anyone else, not talking with anyone else. So I would say game face is on for sure.
Well, and I would say
you
too,
are the enemy, right?
Well, here's the funny part about it. And this is why I said this is a unique year. We're recording this on January 14th. Last night, Hayley, Olympian, lined up with the captain of Team Canada on her line. And I know you're not thinking about when you're with the Victoire, you're thinking about that. You're thinking about winning your team. Like you're a true professional. But like, that's the situation, both of you are in, right? Of like, we have to compete together to win this game. You did win. It was a great game. We joked earlier, gave a great interview last night. Lincoln, when I say that. But that's the world you're in now. And here's the thing. I'm going to say it. It's about darn time that this is something you have to deal with, right? And I was going to say too, when you're in the Olympic Village, and when when the Kachucks come up to you and ask your advice on how to play more physical, I hope you give it to them, Hayley, because that's part of your game that we love. No, listen, it's super exciting about the Olympics. This is a buzz question that I have to ask, that I don't want to ask, but I'm going to have to ask. There has been a lot of questions about the rink in Italy. I think it is completely overblown. I do believe that it's not to the standard we're used to in the United States of $1 billion arena, but there's always, I'll phrase the question like this. There's always noise. This is just such noise, right? When you approach this, you hear these things. Is your focus like, I don't care what the arena looks like as long as the ice is good? Or is there chatter about this? Do you guys roll your eyes at this? Because I'm going to say it, from a fan experience, it's all over the news. And I'm going to say it too. I just think it's so ridiculous that we'll know when we know, guys. It's like you're creating something out of nothing. What is the experience from the players? How are you all dealing with that information? Do you even care? Does it even register? You know what I mean? Are you being briefed on it? These are the things I want to know.
Yeah. Honestly, I think it's blown out of proportion as well. I saw there was the video, they're like, there's a huge hole in the ice or whatever. And then like someone came back, they're like, we played in the game. It was just a normal divot. It's the first ice testing. It's no big deal. It will be fine.
It was the size of a car, Hayley. What are you talking about?
No. They made it sound like it was a gaping hole. And
they will be missed. Yeah.
I'm like, okay, you guys, like, let's relax a little bit. But like, we were told like lower expectations in terms of like the rink. Like they are building this rink from scratch that used to be like a conference center or something crazy. Like, because they're doing like a whole like reusable thing. It's not going to be torn down after.
Oh, that's great. Yeah.
And so it is interesting, but they're like, lower expectations. It's not going to be an NHL arena. Yeah. Like we know that. And to be honest, it really hasn't even been a conversation in our room. Like I think we're just like, we just want to play. Like we don't care. And you've seen that from other NHL players too. They're like, I don't care if it's a box. Like we're playing at the Olympics. Like I don't care what and like honestly, all ice dimensions are slightly different. Like people have bigger neutral zones, smaller neutral zones. At Lowell, at UMass Lowell, where we play Boston, like in the PW, the behind the net is massive.
Right.
Like it's just, there's all different dimensions everywhere. You adapt. It's really no big deal.
Well, and for the hockey players listening, like they both teams have to play on this ice. Like who's going to have an advantage? Like it doesn't work that way. Like everyone's got to play on that ice. The other one I was hearing now is, and this is how I know things are blown out of proportion. They're not focusing on the ice now as of this recording. It's the scoreboard. The scoreboard is not up to snuff. And I'm like, okay, if we're complaining about the scoreboard, I think we're going to be doing all right. Because I know when we're watching on TV, it's going to be real hard to look at the scorecard at the top of the screen. But, I do want to say this too, just, educationally for people. When it comes to the Olympics, most Olympic cities, like 98% of them, it's not a moneymaker for these cities. They're actually losing money on the Olympics. It is kind of one gigantic tourism ad at the end of the day for these nations. The only cities that make money on the Olympics are cities that are using existing buildings. So, for example, when the Olympics were in Los Angeles, they used Los Angeles buildings. When it's in Salt Lake City, right, they will use the arena at their disposal. So they're not spending money. I'm just saying that because there's not a lot of education out there about how the Olympics work. There is a lot of hoopla and this, and I can't wait to hear about the food out there and things like that. But the point that I was hoping you would make, which you did, is that you guys focus on what you can control. It's not about looking at all these other things. This is part of being a professional athlete, right? Or an Olympic athlete in this case. I also want to say too, we were joking with Hayley before the show. For those of you not watching, she's wearing a Team USA hoodie right now. And we were joking, there it is, that you're not just a fan of that team. You're on that team. That's your team.
Hopefully that was free for you, Hayley.
Right. Yeah. Well, hopefully all of it is. So that brings my next question. We will dive into the PWHL stuff here in a minute. I just want to keep it on, you making Team USA. We've talked in previous episodes about the need to understand representing what that means. So when you put that hoodie on this morning, it's not like, hey, I'm supporting my favorite band here. Like when you put that on, do you go, that's my team? Like what is that experience like from now on, or even prior, that you're representing the nation. I mean, Hayley, I'm trying to say, I can't really wrap my head around that fully, right? I have it on a small scale, you know that, but I can't imagine. Can you even put that into words for us?
It's kind of hard, honestly, but yeah, it's just an incredible honor always. And yeah, I get free merch that because I represent my country and things like that. But yeah, when you put the jersey on, it's definitely a special feeling, and um it's hard to describe, to be
Yeah,
honest.
no, that's fair. I went to the Olympics and I got this T-shirt. That should be the
Yeah.
merch.
Well,
All right,
back in the day, that's what you did. That's what you got, right? You got the now you get because you get to keep the opening ceremony stuff. No,
Yes.
it
So
looked pretty
that's
nice this year.
yeah. So that will get when we get to Italy, they'll do it's called processing.
Yeah.
And so we get all of our gear. So opening ceremony, closing ceremony, and then there's just outfits to wear like around the village. So basically you just wear everything they give you. So Nike, Ralph Lauren, Skims, like
That's
a
awesome.
ton of stuff. So like you just wear USA clothes the whole time. So you
Well,
don't
so
really have to even bring much.
small carry on, right? Yeah, that's great.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
pretty
just dress
awesome.
clothes for the game. Yeah.
No,
Oh, that's awesome.
here's another kind of dopey question. You get the opening ceremony stuff, which is usually a little fantastical. That's the word I'll use. What
Uh-huh.
do you do with that when you're done? It's not something typically you wear around town.
No, it's right now it's in storage, but it's so cool. You obviously keep it and
Yeah.
you want to savor it, but yeah, it's pretty like it's out there for like it's in your face
Yeah.
USA, so you're not wearing it too often. But for USA events or whenever I'm celebrating Olympics in the future, I'll be pulling those out for sure.
Yeah. Maybe we'll be able to convince Hayley in a future episode to wear it on an actual episode. We'll see about that.
Yeah, for sure. When I come back with my stuff, I can put it on the outfit.
There you go.
We'll just compare it to Olympic outfits.
Yeah.
So I had a question as you're talking about and it's really a PWHL and a Olympic question, really, just from
Mhm.
the point of view of the day-to-day life of Hayley Scamurra and how you actually look at this from a professional point of view. Because I think as fans, you're like,
Mhm.
oh, she's got to hate those teammates. She's got to, every like could you just express at the NHL level too? We see it all the time. And I think actually
Mhm.
fans get mad that players interact. Like when the game ends and the buzzer goes off, they're like high-fiving and hugging and signing each other. Like you're like, wait, you can't like that person. You must
Mhm.
hate them. Can you just talk about the dynamic of that a little bit and how you kind of understand that for yourself and how you actually, work within, the ability to, turn it on and turn it off and understand it's just being part of a professional.
Yeah, I think, we're all on the same page. We all have like that mutual respect for one another, but it's also a sign of respect to play hard against one another as well. Like we've talked about that in a previous episode for sure. And if I'm like, I would be doing a disservice to everyone if I'm going easy on anyone out there. So whenever you're on the other team, I'm going to play physical. I'm going to hit you. You know what I mean? Like it doesn't change. Um, and how much we want to win for the team we're on outweighs however I feel about someone on the other team for sure.
Well,
Right. But
we've
do you
talked
think
to.
that fans don't appreciate that part of it? Like they don't, I don't know if like a fan, like I think, when you
Mhm.
see this, that like how upset they get that you're having a conversation with another human being and they're like, and you're just like,
Yeah.
well, listen, but I think that's what separates the professional,
Yes.
right? That says, no,
Yes.
no, no, we are going to compete. And then when we're
Yeah.
done competing, I mean, that's a great life lesson, probably, in a lot of ways too, right? That, when we're
Yeah.
done competing, we're going to be able to go out and have dinner together and
Yeah.
then go back at it tomorrow.
Yeah, I think sometimes fans have a hard time understanding that. I think it's people who maybe weren't competitive in sports necessarily or like not at that level. They don't understand how you can flip that switch. I remember with like we have Abby Rock on our team now, and she got into things with Poulin when she was on the other team, and now their line was like, "How are you doing that?" And we're like, "It's not a big deal, you guys. Like we literally, I'm
Yeah.
sure Abby literally hung out with Poulin after the games when she was on the other team. Like it's really not that deep. We don't hold grudges. It's like what happens on the ice stays on the ice. So it's not as wild as you would think it is.
Well, and I'll say too a few things. One is that, Mike, to your point, where she'll be playing against teammates in the Olympics. Every night that Hayley plays, she's playing against a teammate on the other team. There's a Team USA athlete on every team, right? So she's playing against one of them. The second thing too is, we're speaking about fans and the life lessons here. The ultimate sign of gratitude, the ultimate sign is to give everything you got against your opponent, even if they're a friend. To the point that, and for the fans listening, I can be insulted if you're not giving me your best, right? I want you to challenge me to do my very, very best all the time, right? And I know that's a professional mentality, right? And I think what happens with sometimes fans is they allow the emotional side to cloud their judgment. And as a pro athlete, if you do that, I'm not saying there's not times where the emotions run high, but I'm saying if you allow those emotions to control you, it will inevitably lead to a really bad decision, bad play, bad outcome. I think I can't remember who said it, but they said it really great that, like, if you're really angry, that will give you a short, like Hulk level burst of energy, but it will not last. Right. And it's like it's a 10%, 20% chance that it may work. But the consistency of gratitude, the consistency of competition, that will almost always breed results. Right. Again, because like hockey's a physical sport. There's aggression. I'm not denying that.
Yeah, but maybe it's people that don't have siblings either, right? Because you want to because I think when you play against your siblings who you love,
give them everything. Yeah.
You will never lose. Like, you refuse to lose. And I think when somebody gives you like, oh, I'll give you this one, you're like, don't give me this one. I'm going to take it from you. And I think that's where, Hayley, we see it all the time right on our show about all, like, depending on where you fell in the sibling birth year. I mean, it's like, it really is telling, like, where athletes end up being, because they were, from 6 years old to 12, they were beaten up. And they had to compete for every single scrap, right? And I think when you have to go through that type of life, it really molds you as an athlete later on.
That's such a great analogy. I actually love that. I haven't really heard that before. That's so funny.
Oh, it's true. It's look, I'm the younger brother, right? And it's
I'm the youngest. Yeah.
Yeah, I always, it's funny because my older brother, I only have the one older brother, but he hates when I say it. But I always say, like, you kind of paved the way for me. And I realized when I got older, the reason he hated that is because no one paved the way for him. And in the sense of, I shouldn't say he hated it, because he's a great older brother, and he really has always led the way. But for him, it was like he was pioneering the way, and he had to figure it out, which gave me, and it gave me an advantage. Right. But
it's funny, in the development world, you try to replicate that. Like, I know when I see an evaluation or a tryout, I tell you right now, I guarantee that 90% certainty, I can tell if that player is a younger sibling.
Yeah.
I can almost always tell. And it's just because even their swagger and their maturity and their, just little things that you're like, oh, this kid has an older, like, I know, and that's what I dread, like, about my kids are 6 years apart. And I was like, oh, this bus driver is going to be in one hell of a heap of trouble when my younger guy hits the bus, right? Because he's used to listening to a bunch of 15-year-olds. Like, he thinks he's 15.
Right.
I'm like, you ain't 15, you're 8. So I think it's just like those little pieces about development that come up when you're in like this sibling rivalry. But I think it really does replicate. That's why, and Lee's talked about this all the time, is that's why, like, teams that are families fight harder together, because they fight harder against each other. Like, those practices are the worst. And it's like, well, because I love you. Like, I want to make sure that I'm going to beat the heck out of you so that you're getting better and I'm getting better.
Exactly.
Well, again, too, that's a professional mentality. Like, the best athletes they push you to the uncomfortable, right? And that's what it takes. And last thing I'll say too is, my brother's 5 years older than me, and that's a guaranteed loss for me at most athletic activities. And the first time that I remember ever, we'll say come out on top, was I was in college. I was in college the first time I really felt like I got him at something. Because I it was a little more equal at that point, is what I'm trying to say. But man, I was just chasing and trying to do it. And it builds some grit inside of you. And I'm gonna say this too. My brother has a tremendous amount of grit, but he paved that way. Hayley, let's get back to you, because it's about your episode here. So look, again, we talked about the Olympics and the excitement. For the listeners, again, obviously we'll talk to Hayley again after the Olympics as well. But let's paint the picture here of where you're at today, right? It's I said it again. It's January 14th. We're recording this. You had a game last night. You were up late last night. Probably didn't sleep that well. You got another game coming up. You got to be traveling to Washington, D.C. here. You're all over the place, right?
Mhm.
As of today in the standings, the Victoire are in second place. I know you guys probably don't
Ooh.
look at that too much, but you just proved it by your reaction. You
Yeah.
just play the game in front of you.
It's like we are.
Having a good season. Yeah, no, well, actually, we should note that for the listeners when we said that she didn't even know. She didn't even know where she was at. Because let's start there, right? You're not really looking at the table because it's just you got to play the game in front of you, and standings take care of themselves, right? Can you maybe comment on that for a minute?
They definitely do, and especially in our league, is we have the 3-point system for those that don't know. So
Yeah.
that means with a regulation win, it's 3 points. If it's an overtime or shootout win, it's 2 points. And then obviously if you lose in an overtime or shootout, you get 1 point.
Right.
So that allows huge jumps in our standings. So like literally we were in last place 3 games ago, I think. You know what I mean? So like that's how crazy the jumps can be.
Right.
So if you get caught up in the standings, you're just gonna go make yourself a little crazy. So honestly, I don't really look at them too much, as you could tell by my reaction. But I do follow the games, like I'll watch other games and things like that. But it's interesting to see for sure. But yeah, they fluctuate like crazy, and it's always a tight race.
Yeah, and for the fans at home, just to confirm what you're saying, it's a 7-point spread between second and eighth right now,
Mm,
which, like you said, 2 games can dramatically change
yes.
where you're at in the standings. But yeah, no, I will say you are leading the standings in best jerseys in the league. I've been saying that for a while, especially those
I
maroon
agree.
jerseys. Yeah, they're pretty
Yep,
awesome.
they're my favorite. Yeah, they're
Yeah,
really
yeah.
nice.
If anyone from the Victoire is listening, please restock your jerseys so people can buy them. They're in demand, guys. Come on. All right, so I wanted to say that. But yeah, you said you're about a third of the way through the season.
Mhm.
Why again? This is a very broad kind of question. Walk us through it. How's the first third of the season? Talk to us about the team, but also where you're at physically, mentally,
Mhm.
right?
Mhm.
Like this is the point of the season. After the holidays, it now starts to drag isn't the right word, but you're feeling it, I'm
Yeah.
guessing.
Yeah. Little tired right now. Late game, so kind of hard to fall asleep. A little sore, not too bad though. I expected to be feeling it more, but um so overall in that sense, like I feel like I'm doing really well as a team. I thought last night was one of our best games of the season. Every single line, every single D pair, we were all clicking. We didn't give them like anything really, like 5-on-5, especially like they barely had ozone time. And then we just smothered them at all times. And then any chances we had, they were all grade A chances. Like um we didn't have like just a lot of volume shooting from out far. Like we made the most of all of our chances, I thought. And like I said, all of our lines were just going. So it was a lot of fun to play last night. And I think that that was a huge win for our team. And I think a huge confidence boost as well for our group, and just kind of shows what we're capable of when we're all working together the way that we were and playing as hard as we were.
Yeah, this is like when you look at like when you're looking at the team, right? And you're looking at like how you feel like you played last night and all the work that's going into there.
Mhm.
Like what is that message now that like also like you just said you don't look at the standings, but somebody's looking at the standings, right? And the
Mhm.
coaches are trying to say like, okay, well, how do we continue to keep this momentum going and following that direction? So how much time goes into like reviewing last night now as at the because we all know at the professional level you're just going right. It's just like
Yeah.
go 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 go. So there's not a lot like in college hockey, which probably a lot different, right? Where you played your weekend series, you had your review, you had your and then you prepared for the next team.
Yeah.
Maybe talk about the
Yeah.
little differences in that and how your coaching staff and the organization is now preparing you for the next game.
Yeah. We usually will review the game like the next practice we have. So today's an off day. Tomorrow we'll practice and we'll have a meeting before practice where we'll probably talk about things we did well, things we can improve on. And then usually we have like themes to our practices. So like let's say they notice we didn't create chances on our entries, for example, then they'll kind of show us where on our entries we can improve and upgrade our chances. And then we'll like work on that a lot in practice. Like all of our drills will kind of um, have some sort of entry involved. I think that's probably the biggest thing is like the things we work on are pretty quick. We'll have one practice to pretty much work on that, maybe two, because we'll travel on Friday. We go to DC, practice in DC, and then game Sunday. So it's like a lot quicker of a turnaround. So like the things you need to improve on and work on, you're doing it for like maybe one, maybe two practices, and then you're on to the next game. But I think that also helps in terms of moving on from like maybe a bad game or mistakes or things like that. You can't really dwell on it. Like in college, you have a whole week to think about it, but in the pro life, it's like you're on to the next. You got to refocus pretty quick.
So I'm looking at a lot of statistics now, and I'm just doing this to get some good questions. I know it's maybe not the complete focus. Looking at the Victoire and mainly best home record in the league right now, right?
Mm-hmm.
Maybe talk a little bit about playing in Montreal. Now you've been there for a while, right?
Mm-hmm.
You've got a great fan base there, obviously in Canada, a fan base that's going to completely turn on you in about a month for 2 weeks. But what's it like being in Montreal again? Look, when you have the best home record, I mean that
Mm-hmm.
I think that does say something about the environment.
1,000%. Our fans are just so loud. Like, regardless of how many are in there, they just envelop the entire rink. Like, it's hard not to play well in front of them. They're just giving you so much energy and they're so excited to be there. And they're just, it's always loud in there. Like, I swear, it's never quiet. And it really gives us so much energy. I don't know how much they realize that, but it helps a ton. And so we're always very grateful for them. And I think you're right. It shows in our record for sure.
Yeah, no, I always find that amazing because, look, I know fans don't, play the game, but I don't know any player that would say they don't impact the environment of the game, which is part of it, right? And I think that the fact that people, this is across the league, are just showing up in droves to support this league still, because like, let's be honest, Hayley, after the first season, and I know we're in the third season now for anybody listening to this in the future, there was that question of like, okay, is this just a one-time thing? And that was across women's sports, right? We saw it in the WNBA of, okay, all right, people are coming out to support it. Is this a one-time thing? It's not. It has not been a one-time thing. It's 3 seasons now of people showing up. I don't want to ask, how does that make you feel? That's such a broad question, but that must make you feel confident in where this is heading, right? Because if it was a 1-year thing, we would know by now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for sure. I think it's been really cool to see with the takeover games, like in markets that we're not normally in. I think that's one of the cooler parts about our league, is that you see how much other markets want women's hockey.
Right.
Because they're coming out, like, they don't have a stake in the games, like, I'm sure they obviously like have their favorite players, their favorite teams, but like there's not that like hometown excitement necessarily, but it's there because they want a team to come there next. And I think that's probably the coolest part about it, and where you see the growth the most, because like, especially in the Canadian markets where I'm at most of the time, obviously the fans have been there the whole time, and that's
Right.
also been really cool to see, like, over and over again. They're still coming in the same amount with the same energy, and so they ain't going away. It's staying there for sure. And then other, like, all the average attendances throughout the whole league, US states involved as well,
Yeah.
all of them are up.
Yeah.
So I only see it going up from here for sure, and that's definitely the coolest part. It's not just a year 1 thing, like we're in year 3.
Yeah. And look, it's one of the most comforting things to talk about. Like, the ceiling's broken, right? Which is great. And don't matter, there's other ceilings that have to be broken still with a lot of different things, but it's cool to see. Like, I don't hear anybody complaining too much anymore. That first season, it was like, okay, everybody loves women's sports, blah. It's like, no, it's just kind of real, guys. It's not, the ceiling's broken and it's here to stay, which is fantastic. Another stat I'm looking at, look, Mike and I are both coaches. All right. You guys are second best penalty kill in the league, and I know you logged a lot of minutes on that PK. Can you talk to us a little bit about the dedication to special teams? And do you feel like that's something that's starting to define you a bit? Do you feel like that? We'll talk about roles on the team in a minute, but another very important stat is to have that special teams, and talk to us how special teams works on a pro team.
I thought we were first in the league, PK.
No,
did it change? Oh,
it
man.
did change, but you don't look at the standings. I thought, no, as of today.
Well, she's on the PK, so that's a little different.
Yeah, I take some special pride in my PK.
There's a little pride there.
As of today, Boston has that number 1 spot.
That's so funny. I bet you maybe because they scored against us, because we had. So I do look at some stats. So we had, I think, 24 power plays we killed off without letting a goal against, until last night we did let 1 in.
Yeah. Yeah, and I'm looking at the stats, and like I said, that is what it is.
I think that, yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm just giving you a hard time, but no,
It's okay.
I take a lot of pride in my PK for sure. With USA Hockey, it's definitely like one of my bigger roles.
Right.
With this team, it's still a role that I take very seriously. And I love, like, even as a kid, I loved being on PK.
Yeah,
It was
me
my
too.
favorite to like make the power play's life miserable. Like, I loved it. I loved ruining their time, like thinking they could come in and just, set up. It's like, no, like, get out of here, right? So I love that part of the game, and I think having a good PK gives your team so much energy. Like, it's such a momentum boost when you kill off a penalty. And especially, like, I think we had one last night where like they literally didn't enter our zone. We
Yeah.
just kept turning it back, and we were changing on like our possession.
Yeah.
Like, we're like, oh yeah, let's go back in, and like that kills the other team's momentum, like,
Yeah.
hugely. So PK is so important in the game, and we're just super confident with ours, and it's one of my favorites. I love PK.
Yeah, let me ask you this on the PK too. PWHL has the jailbreak rule, which is electric. All right. For those of you listening, if you are shorthanded and score, your teammate's out of the box. And I have coached in some environments where that's possible. It's not so much that when we coach, we're looking to do it. It's one of those things of if the opportunity presents itself, you go for it. But when you get it, I actually don't know of anything in the game that is that big of a momentum shift. Outside scoring a goal, right? Like just a generic goal. But I would say this is even more electric. But how do you approach that as a team? Is it something that is even talked about, or is it more along the lines of like we said, like, well, if it's there, you can go for it?
It's more like if it's there, you can go for it. I think it does. There are certain teams who go for it more often, I
Right.
would say, because that is a really cool aspect of our game. Or like when we're about to go, we're like, let's just go get a jailbreak goal. Like, that'll be fun.
Yeah.
And it's so funny because it's like you can, even without the jailbreak rule, you can do that anytime. But it just like gives
Right.
that little extra incentive to like go for it.
Right.
But yeah, definitely if it's there, we like to attack for sure.
Yeah, I actually love it because it's strategically, from a perspective of the other team too. It puts so much pressure on you because usually, like, if you get a shorthanded goal scored against you, you almost get to reset your power play and try to score, right? You say, hey, look, okay, it happened, no big deal.
Yeah.
But you lose the opportunity now. So the amount of pressure that goes on the team, I think that is fighting that jailbreak rule. I love it. I think it adds a dynamic to the game that players, to your point, Haley, like, if you're a PK person, it just adds another dimension of pride and like another dimension of, wow, that's pretty cool too. We've scored, like, for instance, you probably know, like, how many times you've been on the ice for a jailbreak goal?
Myself?
Yeah. Never?
I don't think I have actually.
Okay, yeah. So, but I mean, but your team
But
has
I've
scored.
bet on the team, yes, and it's really fun. Yeah.
And it's a great. It's all of a sudden that's an added statistic that who would even imagine, you could do that.
I'll tell you, Mike, that and for the audience, like the scenario that I always talk about with jailbreak is, and I've been in this scenario, is that you're ahead by a goal and the other team gets a power play. And now it's their momentum, right? And then you score a jailbreak goal and the entire game flips upside down. You get a go-ahead goal and the other team that has lost their power play. It's I'm going to say it again. It's electric both ways. One way you're getting shocked, one way you're getting excited. But it's amazing. I will say to the audience about special teams, like, when you get older, this is not for 16U and down or 14U and down, but you can live and die on your special teams. They're very, very important. And I would encourage everyone listening to watch, really anybody, but watch Hayley on the PK because you are meticulous. And your positioning is fantastic. But what I notice about you on the penalty kill is your focus. And you can literally watch Hayley process the play in front of her. And I don't think 5-on-5 lends itself as easily to do that because, defense is the main goal at this point. But just watching your head on a swivel, watching you process, seeing who's on the ice, you dictate where you want that puck to go from a defensive standpoint. You really put on a clinic, Haley, every time I watch you do it. And I just think that's something that everybody should watch her do. And again, you'll have a chance in a few weeks in the Olympics as well. If for some reason you don't have YouTube in your house to watch the PWHL for free every game, there's no excuses not to watch. So I just wanted to dive into that special teams thing for a minute. You know, Hayley, here's another thing I want to talk about. Great lesson for the kids listening. Points, right? You got 3 of them, right?
Yeah.
You're on the top line right now. Okay. I want to talk about this because we talk about roles. We talk about how you play the game and how the team comes together, right? Your goal is not to be the leading goal scorer or point scorer in this league. You are a defensive-minded two-way player that creates time and space. At this point of the season, roles are very defined, right? Without, again, do not tell us anything you can't tell us. But what are discussions like with the coach? What are discussions like with the team now with your role established? Right? Like I'm bragging here a bit because you're our co-host. Like, I love seeing you on that line last night.
Yeah.
But that tells me something because they know that you're not up there to get 50 assists here. You're up there for a reason, right? Again, can you give us a peek behind the curtain with any of that?
There wasn't really much conversation. So the reason that happened last night the way it did was just Abby Rock was suspended for a game.
Right.
And then we've also had players who have been coming in from injury that weren't there the whole beginning of the season. So it's like we've still been trying to find the right line combinations, the right gelling. But I kind of just know innately for myself, like being on that line was I'm going to go in and hunt for pucks and get it to my players to create more chances. And
Right.
I'm going to box out people. I'm going to take people with me to the net. Like my goal is to bring as many people as I can with me so there's more space for them. Like things like that. Getting pucks out of the zone for breakouts. Knowing where my support was coming from, like with Pooh coming through the center, like making sure I'm getting pucks off the wall to her so she can go with speed out of the zone. Chipping pucks north, like Stacy's coming, she's gonna get that puck too. So just doing little things like that, I think is super important and what I was really focusing on because I'm not there to play their game. I'm there to play my game that will allow them to play their game.
I gotta say this, and I love that every time we put you on the spot like this, you show how much of a pro you are. All right, I've referenced this several times. There's this documentary, The Last Dance, okay, about the Bulls and their 6th championship run, and there's a famous scene in there where Dennis Rodman talks about rebounds. And for the layman, when you think about a rebound, it's like, yeah, the ball rebounds and you get it. And he talks about like 10 different ways to get a rebound. And it's like a masterclass of this is how a pro thinks about rebounds. You just did that in the way that you play the game. And what I want the audience to do, okay, we'll probably make this a micro clip. I'll make the commitment. We'll write out everything you just said that you do. And I want you parents to show it to your kids or coaches show it to your kids and say, how many of you think about any of these things when you're playing? Age appropriate. Don't show this to your mite player. That's not what I'm talking about. Okay? Off the boards, creating space, bringing people with me, fight for it on the board. Invaluable aspects of a team player to get the puck to the point scores. And that positioned you where you were last night. I appreciate you being humble, saying that players are out. They have a choice when they put someone on the first line. You were that choice. You have to earn that choice. I do. Again, I really do appreciate what you said, but this is earned. Okay. And I want coaches listening too. You got to say that. Everybody listening. The chemistry is finding people that create opportunities for each other. All right. And this is a pro athlete telling you that that's how they're positioning me. Right. And you have many jobs, right? I am a PK specialist. I am a time and space specialist. I will hit you. One of my things I love about Hayley. All right. Again, getting a little bit off topic from the day in the life, but when we uncover these things, Hayley, I like to share them because you're devoted, and I'm using that word intently to this role, and you understand that's my role. And here's a good question for a day in the life, right? How do you practice this? How do you work on your craft in season to get better? Because I know at your level, you're not going to get 20% better. You're going to get 0.5% better. How do you find that every day?
I think for me, watching video is really helpful. I already watched my shifts from last night, and just seeing little things that I'm doing well, and then ways that I can upgrade certain plays by being maybe just a little more patient, moving my feet a little bit more. And I was even doing it like during the game. I was like, there was one time where I tried to like wrap it to the net fast, and then I was like, I think Pooh was open in a quiet spot. Like she's really good at finding those areas in the ice. So
Yeah.
that
Some would
was
say
a
the
note to
best. Yeah.
myself. Yeah.
Yeah.
That was a note to myself even before the game. I was like, I know she's good at finding those areas. I need to find her. And so I missed her the one time, and I kind of took like a mental note. I didn't get too hard on myself. I was just like, okay, I know she's going to be there. And the next time I was able to hit her in that spot. So it's just little things like that. I think improving it in real time and then also in watching it back, and then just doing your best to do that in the next game and in practices.
And then what's the communication like between you and your line mates, right? Because
Yeah.
like I'm guessing, and again, I'm trying to set this up, but like in the moment, you're not like, oh my God, I'm sitting next to literally one of
Yeah.
the, or
No.
it's just no, this is my line mate right now, right? How's the
Yep.
communication on the bench between the team?
It's great. Everyone, most of the girls like to talk and talk about what they see on the play and, what you did well, what they maybe saw, things like that. So it was like an open line of communication the whole time. And I think I said, I was like, oh, okay, I know you were there on that play. And um, little things like that, just working through kinks, if you will. But
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I'd like to see more of that in youth hockey, just with
yeah.
the nature of our show. Kids, we always say it, that communication's everything. And Hayley, I'll tell you that I don't know if it's just the time we live in, but I'm very adamant on the ice and at games. Speak, talk, let each other know you're there. There's no path to the game where you don't do that in the future.
Right.
So the kids listening, you heard it again from a pro. They talk all the time. Mike,
Yeah.
did you have a question? I'm taking up a lot of the airtime here.
No, I love it. I mean, this is
Yeah.
great stuff. I mean, I think just, based, like, I'm thinking about like this day in the life, and I'm hearing about all the competition and all the travel and all the preparation, and like, what are you doing now going into the Olympics and trying to manage this schedule, and now kind of doing a double schedule and thinking about, I'm going to be on an airplane, I'm going to be I'm going to be traveling. Like, how are you preparing, like, nutritionally? Like, how are you setting yourself up, so that you can maintain, obviously, the energy that you need, but then that, that whole piece of eating the right things to get the right rest and get the right recovery, and preparing you for, which is a really tight schedule of going at it pretty good. Like,
Yeah.
what are you doing nutritionally for all of this?
Great question. Nutritionally, very focused on eating healthy whenever I can, obviously. And then rest and recovery has just been huge. I'm trying, like, whenever we do get an off day, I actually take an off day. Um, so that's been super helpful for me. And luckily, I have a sauna in my apartment, so I take full advantage of that. I will be going in there later today. So yeah, I think just taking care of your body as much as you can and taking advantage of off days when you get them, because there's not a lot.
Yeah, I'm guessing it's a day at a time too, Hayley, right? Like,
Yeah.
do you even look ahead, or is just this is what this is where I'm at today. This is what I'm doing today.
It is a day-to-day thing for
Yeah.
sure. It's because yeah, there's just so much going on with the travel schedule, with the itinerary and things like that. Um, it's so hard to really look ahead, to be
Yeah.
honest. I'm like, I'm
Does
definitely a
USA
day-to-day, trip to trip.
does USA Hockey offer you, like, is there a designated nutritionist or cook or somebody that's going to deal just with you as athletes, or they deal with all the athletes in the USA system?
So with Team USA, we do have like a dedicated nutritionist. They were huge for us in Beijing. Um, I don't know how we would have gotten through without them, to
Yeah.
be honest. They were so prepared to
Right,
help us.
you're on your own. No, go ahead.
Yeah.
So I like, they were massive. And then they still are. Yeah, we always have them at every USA event where they're making sure we have the right amount of food and protein and recovery and just literally everything. They think of everything. And then with the pro teams, we do have nutritionists on staff, but they're not there as often as USA Hockey, I would say. But there are making sure that like all the meals we're getting have the right requirements and things like that. And we're doing better at having like snacks on the road and drinks and electrolytes and all those types of things.
Yeah, when we talked about scheduling, Mike left out your incredible podcast career that you have going on here too, as part of the schedule. But like, just to give the audience an idea of how we have to schedule with Hayley, because we fully respect what you're doing. When we schedule with Hayley, sometimes it's like, hey, I have this day open, which is great, but sometimes it's like I may have practice, I may not. Like we have to find the time to do it as well. And again, you work that in for us, which we're incredibly thankful for, right? Which is pretty amazing. Fully expect a call from Italy. What? No, I'm just kidding. Again, won't have any problem with the food in Italy. I'm sure you'll have plenty of
No.
options out there, which is pretty cool. All right, so Hayley, let's kind of I guess wind this down a bit, right? Like I know we're saying you going day to day, but it is mid-January. Olympic break is coming up. And then it's like right to the Olympics and then right to playoffs. Like I said, we're about a third of the way in, right? What are your broad kind of overview thoughts right now of the entire season so far with this being an Olympic break? You know what I mean by that?
Like how I feel personally?
Yeah.
I mean, I'm really proud of myself. I feel like I've been playing really consistently and doing what I can to make sure my body feels good. And this is probably the best I have felt physically and mentally in the PW season so far. So just kind of riding that wave and continuing to do whatever I can to make sure I put myself in the best spot for the Olympics.
I love that. And let me ask you this too. We had Hayley Wynn on recently, and she referred to you as a veteran, which made me think about this of mentorship and leadership, right? I don't know if that's something you had heard before that. I honestly don't know, but is that aspect of leadership or mentorship starting to take grip, right? Again, second time Olympian, third season in the PWHL. Yep. You've got a lot of these, I'm going to say like hotshot college kids coming into the league now. And they said you're a veteran. Like what, how is that experience panning out or how do you take that on?
It's so funny. Yeah, I forget. I'm like the old one on the team now. All these girls are in their 20s and they're like, you're 31? No way. Like, that's crazy.
Yeah.
And then,
that's not old people. Just want to say that. Anyway, go ahead. Yeah.
So, yeah. But I do take that role very seriously. And I'm just always there to just help anyone whenever they're maybe struggling or like lift them up when they are doing well. And just always... I don't know. I just always try to think of others and just make sure they're feeling comfortable so that they're able to play at their best. And it's something that I've taken a lot of pride in. And then something I take very seriously with USA Hockey and in the Pro League now. So,
yeah, no, it's just really cool. I mean, you could see that Hayley Wynn, because we know I don't do nicknames. She had an affinity for you, and that was really cool, right?
Yeah, it was really cool.
I think that's such a gift in a career that you've had thus far when people start to see you that way. Even though you're still growing, you're still learning, you're still trying to figure things out. Like that process never ends. So, Hayley, look, I've loved every second of this. And everything you've done so far today and so far this season. The next time we have one of these, I think it will be after the Olympics. And we'll be able to review for the listening audience. Again, there'll be episodes in between. We record with Hayley all the time and we kind of space them out on purpose. But I'm really proud to say that, again, the next time we have this conversation, it will be post your second Olympics as we kind of head into the PWHL second half, right? Last third of it, right? It's an amazing time. Mike, any final questions before I close this out?
No, just we'll be watching and best of luck. And I'm an extra large, by the way, if there's any good.
Good to know.
Yeah. But no, it's going to be great. I think it's going to be a lot of fun, and it's going to be such a different. As Lee said earlier, it's such a different atmosphere with players being extracted from their current teams and now playing together and playing against each other. I think it's going to be a fun thing to watch.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So speaking like a true coach, Hayley, I'm not going to wish you luck because I don't think you need luck to win. I'm just going to wish you the best, and may your feet be swift, your teammates be healthy, and may the food be delicious.
I love it. Yes.
In Italy. Okay.
Thank you. Appreciate it, you guys.
No, we appreciate you. Thanks so much. That's going to do it for this edition of Our Girls Play Hockey. Remember, if you have questions for Hayley that you want to know, email us, team@ourkidsplayhockey.com. You can always message her or us on Instagram. And also in every episode, there's a link accompanying it in the description. You can tap on that, leave your name, where you're writing from, text us, right? We love answering those questions. But for Hayley Scamurra, for Mike Benelli, I'm Lee Elias. We'll see you on the next day of the life of Hayley Scamurra, Olympian, PWHL player, penalty kill specialist, great teammate, great person, and American in Canada. We'll see you on the next Our Girls Play Hockey, everybody. Take care. We hope you enjoyed this edition of Our Kids Play Hockey. Make sure to like and subscribe right now if you found value wherever you're listening, whether it's a podcast network, a social media network, or our website, ourkidsplayhockey.com. Also, make sure to check out our children's book, When Hockey Stops, at whenhockeystops.com. It's a book that helps children deal with adversity in the game and in life. We're very proud of it. But thanks so much for listening to this edition of Our Kids Play Hockey, and we'll see you on the next episode.